So good morning, everyone. Yeah, good morning. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you. My name is Simon Emmanuel, and I'm welcoming everybody to today's webinar. This webinar is organized by Bosbridge University. So anywhere you are joining us from, we really appreciate your time you're about to spend. I will believe that these few minutes you are spending with us is not going to be a waste. And before we start our usual ritual, before anything, we would like us to start with the opening prayer. So I'm going to lead by the opening prayer, and I would like us to just pray for 30 seconds and we'll start. So can we all pray? In the name of Jesus Christ, our Heavenly Father, we say thank you for what you've done. Receive our praise and thanks in the name of Jesus. Father, we thank you for this moment, your blessings upon our life. We say let your name be highly exalted. Father, we are here to learn. Father, we ask for wisdom, we ask for knowledge, we ask for understanding. Everything we are going to discuss here today, Father, give us the grace to perfect it according to your will. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you once again. My name is Simon Emmanuel, and I'm the head of marketing for Courier and Logistics Management Institute, CLMI, in affiliation with Bosbridge University. I'm going to be taking us a brief intro about CLMI and Bosbridge, so that we can all understand where we are all coming from. So CLMI is a professional institute that is into capacity building, professional membership, and consultancy. So CLMI is the only institute that offers these areas of courier, logistics, transport management as one package. And we have courses in different areas. So we are affiliated with Bosbridge University, where you can run your degree programs in business management, human resource, public health, in any areas of your choice. And that is one of the reasons we are here this morning. And CLMI has the executive chairman who founded Victoria Logistics Management. Is also here with us, person of distinguished Professor Simon Emeje. And we also have the vice chairman of CLMI, which is Dr. Chizomam Anne Emeje. She's also here with us. And as the lecture goes on, I'm going to be introducing us to the faculty members of Bosbridge University. And Bosbridge University is currently affiliated with CLMI, and where students can run programs of their choices in PhD, in MBA, in MSc, in different areas of your choice. And in CLMI here, we have faculty members. We have like Dr. Sunday Adibolo, who is a faculty member of Bosbridge. We have Dr. Angelo Julius, faculty member of Bosbridge. We also have pharmacist Andalin, who is also a faculty member of Bosbridge. Then we have also Dr. Chizomam Anne Emeje, she's also a pharmacist and the director of True Farm. She's also a faculty member of Bosbridge. And we have Dr. Elijah Mohammed, also faculty member of Bosbridge University. And we also have Dr. Onalo Matthew, who is also the faculty member of Bosbridge, and so on. And today, I want to welcome you all to this webinar. And before I project the slide, so I would like each and every one of us to feel comfortable, to feel relaxed. This is the moment that we are going to learn things that we implement, especially in our area of professionalism. And if you are not joining us, please make sure you mute your mics. And our speaker for today is also she's a scholar of Bosbridge University in PhD Human Resource Management. Her name is Mrs. Ajaro Onyechi, and she's going to be taking us on the topic building resilience, that is strategies for adapting to change and sustaining productivity. And please, I will indulge us to take our pen and Bible to note as many things we are going to learn today. And please, I would like our speaker to turn on your video so we can see you before I introduce you.
Okay.
Right.
Do I have the floor, Emmanuel?
You have the floor right now, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that opening remark. And big thank you to Prof for this opportunity, to learn, constant learning. it's a rare opportunity. Sometimes for you to attend some of this, a webinar of this nature, sometimes you might be asked to pay to acquire such knowledge. So thank you so much for this platform, Prof. So good morning, Prof. Good morning to all the faculty members, and good morning, my fellow scholars, and any other person that might be on this platform. I welcome all of us to this session, and I am hopeful that everybody is going to learn one or two things by the time we are done with this session. In fact, when this topic was sent to me, building resilience, it struck me because resilience is something we all need in the times we're in. You know, by the time we started this year, there was, on a lighter note, there was a slogan being adopted on the social media space, no grief for anybody. For me, if you want to translate it to proper English, for me, that's simply resilience. It means you should remain dogged, you should stay put. And if we look at our topic, building resilience, strategies for adapting to change and sustaining productivity, it's obvious that change usually will birth resilience. If everything was normal, we're in a normal situation, there is no change, we're in our comfort zone, we won't need to be talking about resilience. I mean, it's not necessary. And then if you decide to build some kind of resilience in response to change, then the result of that right move is either sustaining productivity alone or improving productivity, definitely not reducing productivity. So if we look by way of introduction, next slide, please. If we look by way of introduction and looking at the core meaning of resilience, you can say that resilience is the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. Take note of the fact that there is change there, because if there is no occurrence of change, you won't need to be talking about resilience. You will just be fine. We'll all be fine. So we're saying the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. You know, change can be positive or negative, but most times we look at resilience, in the context of when that change is not very favorable. And then you can also look at resilience from the perspective of the capability of a strained body to recover its size and shape after deformation caused especially by compressive stress. You can also look at resilience in that light. So basically, we're looking at the major concepts that surround resilience. And you know that resilient people would always show self-assurance, understanding. These are things that come with resilience, because there's some kind of blend of strength that you need for you to be called a resilient person. And we'll look at all these things in this session to help us equip ourselves, for the times we're in and the times ahead. In trying to understand resilience better, we say that you need to embrace change. Rather than being scared of change, you should be ready to embrace change, because change is inevitable. Change is the only constant thing in life. Nothing is as constant as change. In fact, where we are today in Nigeria, the changes are coming at a pace that you and I didn't anticipate, to the extent that even national anthem has changed. So those of us that, a lot of people that are saying, I beg, my brain cannot even take anything now. Your brain has to open up to learn the new national anthem and be able to sing it. So basic changes like that are happening, bigger ones are happening, and you are not going to just remain flat and ordinary. You must train your mind to begin to embrace. You don't have to be scared of change, because change is not going to go away because you are scared of it. In fact, it's going to come more. And then you must cultivate resilience, meaning that resilience is an outcome of a conscious effort. You must cultivate it. You must be intentional. You must be deliberate about it. There is no room for losing hope. If you lose hope in Nigeria of today, then you might as well be dead, because we need all of these ingredients to help us become resilient and make us remain relevant. That is where productivity comes in. And then we're also saying that for us to understand resilience better, we should be able to communicate effectively. You shouldn't die in silence. Everybody is passing through one thing or the other. You must have people you can talk to. You must have people you share your ideas with. You must have people you share your concerns with. You talk to people about your challenges. In all facets of our life, even if you're going through some changes around your health, you're going through some changes around your family living, you're going through some changes around your business, around your profession, even around your academics. You should have somebody you will talk to. I know there are some new students on this platform. Don't suppress your concerns concerning the new program you're embarking on. Whatever concerns you have, talk to somebody about it. There are people to talk to about it. These are ways to build resilience. And let me say this, particularly to the new students. The truth is that this journey you have embarked on a normal day in your comfort zone, going back to school is the least you want to think about because of the financial stress, because of the additional financial burden, or the time, the energy, and all of that. But you have displayed resilience by even taking the decision to be here in the first place. And of course, this is going to dovetail to improve and sustain productivity for you in terms of what the certificate is going to fetch you. And then we must also seek growth opportunities. Rather than avoid challenges, you should seek growth opportunities. In the midst of the quagmire, in the midst of the challenges, the difficult times, the tough times, you should look out for growth opportunities. Even in the organizations where you work, you should look out for growth opportunities. You should look out for new things you can do. Getting another degree is an opportunity for growth because it can help you do one or two other things you could not do before. It can help you to be able to stand before people and speak and you'll be taken seriously. So seeking growth opportunities in the times we're in is much more laudable than avoiding challenges, because these challenges are not even going to go away, no matter how you want them to go away. And then building strong relationships. You must learn to build strong relationships, your support system, the network, that help you to live a better life. These are things you must put in place for you to understand what resilience is and to step into the sphere of resilience. You must build strong relationships with the right people. Strong relationship means you are building that relationship with the right people that are relevant to your cause, people that are relevant to what you hope to achieve, in your life, people that are relevant to the challenges you're looking at, people that have had such similar situations that can add value and tell you how to navigate, through it. Going beyond understanding resilience, we also look at the role of resilience in adapting to change. This is where confidence comes in. Confidence, comes to the picture. Confidence comes with a feeling of competence, effectiveness, adequate self-esteem. Confidence helps you to improve on your self-esteem, for you to be able, to tackle the challenges and, sit within the sphere of resilience. You should be confident. This helps to project resilience in achieving the results that you have. You also look at purposefulness. It gives you a clear sense of value. It gives you direction. Purposefulness helps you to drive in the right direction, work within set objectives, work within expectations, and not, to be beaten around the bush. When you are talking about resilience, really, you have to be direct to your cause. You have to be direct, to your purpose. Talking about the social support, which is also the network we have talked about, you have to build effective collaborations to help you adapt to change. You must build effective collaborations to help you adapt, because no man is an island. And honestly, you cannot do it alone. In everything we do in life, even the Christian or Muslim race, wanting to be a better Christian, a better Muslim, you can't do it alone. That is why there is Bible study or Quran study or whatever. So as even the minute things in life, you need collaborations that are effective. And of course, adaptability. When in the face of change, you should quickly adjust and adapt. You should quickly adjust and adapt to the change. This helps you for quick recovery from the change and, harsh encountering. And, if you look at it, Dieter Oxford said that it is your reaction to adversity and not the adversity itself, you know, that will determine how your life story will develop. So it's not about the times we're in, it's how you adapt, it's how you quickly adjust and react to this adversity that will determine, you know, the direction of your life and how you're going to end up, and of course, determine the level of your productivity. And then we'll move on to looking at professional resilience strategies. We'll move on to look at professional resilience strategies, adapting to constant learning. Adapting to constant learning. Once you stop learning, you start dying. Once you stop learning, you start dying. You know, Alvin Toffler said that the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So learning is constant. That's what we're doing here right now. What will make people begin to embark on adult education, if not for the quest for constant learning? That's the reason we're here. So you have to learn, meaning that you're going to learn new things. You have to unlearn, meaning that you're going to drop some outdated knowledge you have, or some things you know that are no more relevant in the times where we are. So that is unlearning. And then you relearn. There are some things you already know. You need to learn it better. You need to, you know, become an expert at it, a better expert at it, and that is relearning. So adapting to constant learning is something, you know, that will help us. Don't let your learning lead to knowledge alone. No. You must let your learning translate to action. As you learn, you put into action, and that is the only way productivity can actually happen. In embracing failure, you know, you learn more from failure than success. If you look at it, most times, if you write an exam and come out with a good result, you will see that, you know, you are carried away with the euphoria of the success. You might not even have the time for any sober reflection. But write an exam and fail. Yeah, some kind of sober reflection will be triggered in you. You begin to ask some pertinent questions. What went wrong, and how can I avoid making same mistakes in future? Okay, what can I do differently next time I try this? What steps do I need to take to improve in this area? These are pertinent questions that come from failure and that translate to success. So embracing failure is a very vital ingredient for remaining resilient and being productive. And of course, learning from your mistakes works hand in hand with the failure. When you make a mistake once and you're making the same mistake twice, it's no more the act of making mistakes. This is foolishness. So we must quickly learn from our mistakes. Sometimes you're advised to even try to learn from other people's mistakes if you're smart enough, so that you don't even need to make that mistake yourself. But yes, even if you make that mistake, try not to repeat that mistake. Take your lessons, move on, and become a better person. And then we also, one of our professional resilience strategies is building strong support networks. This cannot be overemphasized because no man is an island. You need a very strong support network. You need very strong collaborations with people to be able to, you know, achieve resilience and, you know, improve output. You must also anticipate changing conditions. You should also, that's being proactive. You must be proactive. You can't remain flat in a very wild period that we are in right now. It's a crazy period, honestly. As a business person, you should begin to think, notice trends, plot your graph around trends. By this time last year, what happened? Things are changing. What am I going to do in the next 2 months? If you're selling a certain type of product, you're on a particular business line, when is your peak period? When do you have low sales? When you have low sales, how are you going to cover that gap, that financial gap you're going to encounter? Are you going to diversify? Are you going to collaborate with somebody else or do something else? You must be proactive. You must think ahead. Even like, for example, in the banking industry, a lot is happening, a lot of policies are happening around the banking industry, bank recapitalization and all that. If you're a bank employee, if you're anticipating changing conditions, you should know that this might not be the right time for you to, think of changing jobs, because recapitalization is going to throw up a lot of things. You can't be quite sure who will survive and who will not survive. You might just be moving from fry pan, to fire. So you must be proactive in everything that you do, to be sure that you're not going to take the wrong decisions, or you're not going to be too slow in reacting to these changing conditions when they eventually happen. We also talk about patience and persistence in difficult times. This cannot be overemphasized. You must be patient. You can't run faster than your legs, otherwise you are going to make a mistake. You must be persistent. Persistence in the sense of being resilient. So if you're sure you're going on the right path, then persistence is key. Keep doing that thing you know is right. The result will definitely come. Sometimes the result could be slow in coming, but definitely the results will come. And then creative problem-solving skills. You should be very creative. You should begin to think outside the box. We should think outside the box. That is how to put resilience to good use. You can't keep doing the same thing every day and expect a different result. That's a definition of madness. So we must be creative in terms of becoming problem solvers. We should be troubleshooters. We shouldn't sit back and just expect everything to go conventionally. Conventionality is not going to help anybody in the times we're in. You must be creative. You must become stylish in problem solving, in service delivery, in anything you're doing. You must be creative. And then investing in organizational skills and talents. This is my area. For organizations, of course, you can't just allow your staff to remain flat. Skills must improve, talent must improve. You must put things in place to attract better talent. A lot of companies are doing different things, trying to catch young employees fresh from school, fresh from youth service. And then the ones that are there already, they are being trained constantly and, to make sure they improve. Because the truth is that even in these difficult times, service delivery has become much more difficult. Customers are becoming more demanding, even when they're ready to pay less. They're not ready to pay more money, but they're becoming more demanding. How are you going to be able to, prep your actions and your services to meet with these demands? That is, you're not the one to, if you're maybe at the higher end of the organization, know that it's still your team members that will do the work. How are you equipping these people to be able to, be skilled enough to meet the needs and remain in business? And then selecting appropriate sectors and business structures. Of course, you should know the sectors that are thriving now. With all the changes in Nigeria, with everything happening that the new government has come with, some sectors might be thriving, some might not be thriving as others. Between the COVID time and now, we know that the pharmaceutical sector seems to have been thriving, medical sector seems to have been thriving, because really you can't do without them. That's the truth. If you look at the way the price of drugs, have skyrocketed, I found a good replacement for Augmentin, which is Fleming, but I now found out that Fleming too has moved from 2,000 to 7,000, 7,005. So you find out that these prices are going. No, it doesn't mean that the pharmaceutical people are making so much money, really, because if you look at the cost of remaining in business and then how much they sell their drugs, if you do the net, they might not have so much money as profit. But the truth is that there are sectors that are booming better than others. There are business structures that will favor organizations better than others. So in the times we're in, you must identify these business structures. You should identify the sectors and adapt to them to be able to survive, in the current times. Okay, so trying to sustaining productivity during change. We are looking at developing growth mindsets, which we've said before, continuously learning and adapting, setting clear and realistic goals. Don't set goals that will suffocate you. Yeah, it's good to be very, 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 very ambitious, but even for your people, your team members or whoever, set goals that are realistic, goals that are achievable, so that they'll be encouraged to continue. Because if somebody keeps failing over and over again, sometimes the person might become a bit discouraged. Cultivate a supportive and collaborative work environment. We've said that embracing technology and automation, this cannot be overemphasized. In the course of our study in Bosbridge, we've had to do some presentations around the artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, and all whatnot. That is to show you the place of technology and automation in everything we do in life. Every single thing. Even in churches now, you pay your tithe online. Before, it wasn't done now. Before, you use card, put the tithe inside, cash, write your name, blah, blah, fee register, but now everything is automated. The learning we are doing now is automated. We didn't have to gather ourselves in a classroom. So embracing technology and automation is something that cannot be overemphasized. And then implementing effective time management. If you don't manage your time effectively in the times we're in, you're going to make a mess of every money you've put into your business or into your life, because if you don't manage your time very well, time is going to run against you. And I'm not sure anybody wants to experience that. Emmanuel. Now, the Japa syndrome. This Japa syndrome seems to be the biggest change that has hit the Nigerian space in recent times. Japa syndrome, and it pervades every sector. Every sector. Most sectors have felt it in one way, or the other. It's a widespread problem. We know that it was coined from the Yoruba language, which means, I think, to run, to flee, to escape. Okay, and so many things led to this Japa syndrome, which we all can feel. All of us can feel it. Governance has contributed to this. Instability has contributed to it. Unemployment has contributed to it. Lack of security. You see terrorism, you see kidnapping, abduction, you see a lot of things, rape, poor working conditions, strikes everywhere. Even when there is no strike and your office working, there is some kind of picketing going on, things are distorted, people don't even have a clear-cut career path because they don't know what else is going to hit them. People cannot even afford to eat. They can't feed their families. So we're in a situation whereby you see some men will sit back here and send their wife and children abroad while they remain in the battle, on the battlefield. Some people decide to go, all of them, man, woman, children. And some people, sometimes the man will go and leave the family behind to be sending money back to them. But this Japa syndrome is something that has hit us so much. We must, consider, that's why we are looking at it today, to also see how, adverse this has been to our work, to our business, to our survival. We have lost the best hands in most of the sectors. We have lost the best hands. We that are still here, we are good. We are among the best, but we have really lost very, very good people. And that has affected the quality of life we have. If you look at if you go to the hospitals, people are dying in droves. Why? You don't have enough doctors. And the doctors on ground cannot split themselves into 2 or into 3 or into 4. They can only do what they can do. You don't have enough nurses. Okay, you have a court case, it lasts forever. You say the judges are on strike today. Come to the schools, come to the academic space. A lot of lecturers have japaed as well. They have relocated a lot of lecturers. So you find out that we're having to manage in a lot of ways. Even in the financial sector, the jobs tasks that were being handled by 5 people in a team are now being handled by 1 person in a team. Lower level officers who before now you'd never imagined could be branch managers are managing branches because we don't have the availability of people, enough people to do these things. That is how deep this Japa thing has eaten into, our lives as a people. We're supposed to be forward-thinking, we're supposed to be forward-looking people, and that's why we're considering the way out of this syndrome. And we're saying that, of course, the national economy must improve. There has to be opportunities for jobs. There has to be the promotion of entrepreneurship. Everybody should not wait to be employed. You come out from school, you're waiting for who will employ you. If you don't get employment, create something for yourself. That is why even when our kids are in school now, we're encouraging them to learn some kind of skill, some kind of handwork that will be useful to them as they leave school. Even from when they're in school, they'll be making money. And then when they leave school, they can go bigger on it. That's entrepreneurship. And so it is something that everybody has to consider to be able to be sure that you don't go to some other country and become a refugee or become a slave and begin to start doing menial jobs. We were supposed to be a professional back home. We're also saying that there should be some kind of fortification of our national security. If people don't feel safe, they can't function properly, they can't reason well. You cannot be in a place and you are scared you're going to die the next time. There's going to be a bomb blast, you're going to be kidnapped. Many Easterners are not able to even visit their homes anymore because they are scared, of being kidnapped or being abducted. And if they kidnap you, will be tired, you don't even have money to pay as ransom. They are going to die. So at the end of the day, fortification of national security is something that is very, very, very essential to tackle this Japa syndrome. And then addressing the issue of brain drain. To address the issue of brain drain, we must make sure that our professionals are well paid. Professionals have to be well paid. They should be able to take care of their family after spending so many years in school to learn some of these professions. Addressing the issue of brain drain, people must feel safe to be able to work in certain places. So many things, if only governance can improve and begin to reason the way we are reasoning on this platform, so many things can be done to get our people back. First of all, to stop people from going, at least stem brain drain, and then begin to do things to bring these people back. That is fully addressing the issue, of brain drain, bringing back our best hands, retaining our best hands, and making sure, that as a country, the talents we have, our God-given talents, are put to good use. In conclusion, we know, you and I know, that sustaining a business you have started in Nigeria or you're planning to start is not easy. We have a lot of business people in our midst today. It's not easy. If you are not paying too much for power, you are paying so much for security. If you are doing importation, your goods might never arrive. The dollar is going up and down. There are so many reasons why you just want to, close your eyes and scream out for help. So, but then that is why we have, looked at this issue of resilience, perseverance, because if you know that you must survive, then you have to take, steps to survive. Bob Marley said, you never know how strong you are until being strong is your only option. So we know that we are facing it, we can't run away from it, and so we must persevere. So by way of recommendations, we're saying, please join a group. Where we are here now, we're in a group. Please join a group. Find a group or groups that you can join, where good ideas can be bettered, where you can learn new things every day, where you can keep up with new policies so that no policy takes you unawares. Please join a group or join groups. Make healthy connections a priority. Please make healthy connections. Make social moves to make healthy connections. It could be anywhere. It could be in church. It could be in the mosque. It could be in your village meeting. It could be in school. It could be at your place of work. It could be at an event. Make healthy connections a priority. Self-care. Oh my God, this cannot be overemphasized. Self-care. Please take care of yourselves. You must be strong and alive to be able to talk of resilience and productivity. Give yourself some pep talks. Stand around, talk to yourself, appreciate yourself, look yourself in the mirror, and build strength within you. Listen, if you don't build strength from within, you can't give the strength you don't have. So winning must come from within. Resilience must be intentional. If you don't take self-care seriously, you're not going to be able to achieve all of these things we're talking about. Take your health seriously. You need to present yourself healthy. You need to be able to be relevant. So please talk to yourself, positive talks, pep talks to help yourself so that you can remain sane. Your mental health can work for you. Positive self-talk. Yeah, I've already embedded that in the self-care. And back on positive self-talk to help yourself. Aim high and strive for your objective. Please don't underrate yourself. Don't ever allow any voice or any situation make you think less of yourself. Aim high, strive for your objectives. Put them in the front burner always. Make sure that you don't lower your standards. Do not lower your standards. Aim high so that even if achieve the middle point, is still better. Always make sure that you're better in a place that is better than where you're coming from. That is what it means to aim high. Step outside of your comfort zone. Comfort zone does nobody any good. Comfort zone does nobody any good. There is even no comfort zone now as it is in the present day Nigeria. So you shouldn't even think of remaining in a comfort zone that does not exist. You must step outside of your comfort zone if you want to be able to achieve great things. I believe it is in stepping out of your comfort zone. That's why you thought of that's why all of us are here, trying to get new degrees, in all of the difficulties that we're facing. We can just remain on our normal life, just wake up, go to work, take care of your family. That's comfort zone. These are things you've been doing over and over and over and over again. But now we are trying to unsettle status quo, by getting this degree to help us, propel our lives forward. So think of other areas in which you ensure that you don't remain, in your comfort zone. You can't be changed by what has happened to you, but you must be sure that what has happened to you does not reduce you. Yes, what has happened to you can change you, but don't allow it to reduce you. The change must be on the upward. The effect of change must be on the upward trend. So we encourage everybody here today to please make sure that you're talking to somebody to move yourself forward. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Make sure that you're aiming high and striving to do better than you did yesterday. And make sure that you are your own greatest competitor, competing with yourself to make sure you are better than who you were yesterday. And please, by all means, step out of your comfort zone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. That's a wonderful one. And thank you everyone for finding that time to listen. And we believe we've been blessed with this presentation. And thank you, Mrs. Kelechi, once again. And I would like to take questions before I reach out to our faculty members. I would like to take questions from the audience. So if you have any questions, please use the icon, the hand icon, by raising your hands if you want to speak. But if you don't want to speak, type your question in the chat box. So we can do this in order, okay? While we are waiting for questions, we have one question here from Mr. Olayele Otuweini. Okay, let me start the first. Okay. Madam, are you with me? Hello, Madam Yenichi.
Yes, please.
So the question says, what resilience can apply to manufacturing industry running at a loss in view of fuel hike for months, now with workers' agitation, bank pressure and government officials, harassment on illegal monetary collection? Please advise practical solution. Many thanks.
Okay. This is a whole lot for one person. Running at a loss in view of fuel hike for months, workers' agitation, bank pressure, government officials, harassment on illegal monetary collection. For manufacturing companies, in the first place, if you're a manufacturing person, you are in the right sector, because of course, you know that the situation is trying to discourage importation. But you might, want to review your internal processes. You might want to look at your production cost. You might want to look at your staffing to be sure you're not carrying baggages. You have to do a lot of internal review, okay? Because if you're running at a loss, then you're almost out of business. So you might have to, if you're not attracting immediate revenue, then you have to look at how to reduce your costs. Because those are the two ways of making money. Either you build new revenue, you increase revenue, or you cut your costs. You might also, if you look at, you're saying harassment from government officials, you might look at the item you're manufacturing and, compare also what other players in that industry are going through. Is there something that is peculiar to you alone? That's why you said you must join groups, you must compare notes, you must look at what other people are doing. And I'm sure, with other additional strategies, and these questions too are open to the House, really. With other additional strategies, I'm sure that you might be able to come out of this.
Okay, so thank you. Our speaker is open for opinion also for the question. If you have any additional opinion to add to that question. Okay, so while we still, does anybody have any other opinion before we move on to the next? We have hands up. So I'm going to call you accordingly, please. So according to the people that are raised hand. So the first person here is Mrs. Henrietta Mboni. Please, can you just ask your question? And while Dr. Sam Emenike, please get ready for your question, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. I really don't have a question. I have a comment, and I will also want to hear Onyechi's views on some things I want to talk about, because I always respect her views. Onyi, well done again. You have raised the bar again, and I totally enjoyed your presentation, and I must say that the people that are not here today have missed out a lot, because I learned one or two things here that I have not been practicing, which I would put, I'll start doing immediately. Okay, I just want to talk about the situation of the country. I would want to think or say that Nigerians, it's my opinion, are actually very resilient, because the changes that have happened in this in a while now has practically been on the opposite direction. Let me call it negative changing. And then we keep adjusting and adapting, and we're resilient. We keep, taking it in, absorbing it, and trying to live, within the whole situation. I want to know your views about this change. Is it that we should just be resilient, whether the change is positive or negative? We should keep, holding on, try to live above it and all that. I just want to hear your views. When we are faced with such changes, a change that we know that is not taking us anywhere, that it looks as if there's no hope, like there's no, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, and we keep trying to absorb it and to be strong. I just want to hear your views about it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Henry. Resilience has no end. Resilience is an unending virtue. Because, like we said, change is the only constant thing in life. Talking about this Japa syndrome, really, are you aware that Japa didn't start today? Remember the advert on Andrew that said he was checking out? Then
yes, I can remember, yes.
Yes, so the people that were resilient at that point in time have still survived till today. So resilience is as unending, or should be as unending as change is. Because change must always happen. You talked about whether the change is positive or negative. Most times we talk about resilience in the face of negative changes that bring discomfort to us. In the face of positive change, I think we need more discipline to remain afloat. Sometimes if you encounter positive change in terms of a success or a win or a gain, if you don't put yourself together, you might become carried away and you'll not be able to, repeat that success. So, but talking about resilience, the change that bets resilience usually comes with some level of discomfort. And the truth of the matter is that as far as Nigeria is concerned, we need to constantly show resilience in everything that we do. So there is no end to resilience until, we get to our El Dorado and say that, yes, we have gotten to a place where we can, say that, yes, things are a little bit better or a lot better. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ma. So, Dr. Sam Emenike, your question, And please, Dr. Lucius, please get ready to ask your question, sir.
Sorry, I have something to add to the resilience thing.
Right.
Sorry. Can I go ahead?
Please, who's speaking?
My name is Coyote Jacobs.
Oh,
I want to add to the resilience before we go to other questions.
Just
I should go ahead.
yes, sir, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Now, what we should understand is this. Resilience does not mean folding your hand and surviving. Resilience means moving backwards, re-strategizing, and devising means to survive the situation. To survive the situation. So to be resilient does not mean, because in some Nigerian contexts, to be resilient means to just sit and look up to God, you know, for survival. But what resilience means in this case is that you should sit back, like we are taught by the speaker. If you cannot make the profit, you can cut your spending. That is resilience. It's a strategic resilience to stay afloat. So we must have this in our mind, in our thought, in whatever we are doing, that to be resilient does not mean to go and sit down and be waiting that in 1 year, in 6 months, things will change. No, you strategize to survive. You find means to survive that situation and to move forward. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Please want to say anything again, please kindly raise the hand icon to avoid interruption. Okay, Dr. Sam Emenike, please, you have the floor, sir.
All right,
My
thank you
hand is
very
up,
much.
oh.
Thank you very much. Dr. Mr. Sajiro and Onyechi, thank you very much. Your studies is very educative, as powered by the Buzzsprout University. Thank you very much. You've done very well. I have two requests and then a question. Let me go first with the question. The question goes like this. Madam, what resilience can be put in place by organizations or governments who have adopted informal auditing resulting from informal economy? For example, staff hire and inclusive. What do I mean by informal economy? Is my candidate, give him the job. Whether he has the experience or not, whether he has the qualifications or not, that's my candidate. That's an informal part of informal economy. So what resilience could be put in place to address the informal auditing? It has scattered the whole of organizations. It has scattered organizations and governments. All right, that's my question. Secondly, my request goes like this to the coordinator. Can we please have these slides sent to us by email, including the records? It's very important that we go over it and over again. Secondly, how often can this be organized? Because this is my first time of being part of this as a student of this university. Thank you very much as a scholar.
All right.
Okay.
So, madam, the question, you can answer the question.
Yeah, okay. If I heard you correctly, you're talking of how we can build resilience to tackle the issue of, you said informal economy is my candidate. That's basically corruption or something, you know, man, no man, you know, and all of that. As an HR, as a human resource person, usually if human resource units has autonomy in the right way human resource should be in an organization, then an HR person who is serious-minded definitely should be able to put his or her feet on the ground to stop this, to stop that. But you must have very intelligent ways of shortlisting candidates, because if you're not, because you see that a lot of human resource units across organizations have also become swallowed by the executive. In fact, most, I don't want to go direct, but most human resource units have even kind of on dotted lines, delegated their responsibility of getting candidates to be interviewed for other units to do that. So if that kind of looseness exists in a particular company in terms of the human resource, then I mean you're going to go with anything that comes your way. Okay, but if the human resource unit is strong enough to do the job they are supposed to do by going through shortlisting, interviewing, and doing it and being at the forefront of every human resource related activity, I'm not sure the issue of man no man will not be reduced. It will be reduced to the barest minimum. It might not be fully eradicated, but it will be reduced to the fact. But when you begin to do too much delegation, sharing your responsibilities with other units that should not be involved in that, then you might not be able to do anything about it. But to completely eradicate it, it might not be easy, but it can be reduced.
Okay, well, if I will come in again, please, sir. If I will come in again, so what do you suggest that should be done to the executives who have actually brought us to this level of corruption? What should be done? Or what do you think that we should do?
Are you still talking with regards to recruitment or generally
Yes.
in the country?
Generally
Okay, recruitment.
And you're generally the country.
Okay.
It's everywhere.
Oh my God. You remember what happened to Ghana? You remember what happened in Ghana that J.J. Rawlings did? I think that's part of what bettered. I think what J.J. Rawlings did was what bettered the new Ghana that we are looking at today. A chronic disease requires drastic treatment. I can't say more than that.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And for your other questions, this webinar is currently being recorded, and we have the slides available. Then I want to promise you all that this program is not just going to be a one and for all, that's going to be a continual basis. Thank you for that question, sir. Okay, and Professor Lucius Ikechukwu, sir, you have the floor for your question.
Thank you very much. Resource person, I appreciate you. I will say that you are really heavily loaded, and what you have injected into this webinar is going to go a long way. But I have one or two concerns. I'm afraid if here in Nigeria, we still have existing comfort zone. When you advise us to come out from comfort zone to accomplish reasonable resilience, I wonder, looking at the statistics of death toll in the country, it's evident that the level and the percentage of sudden deaths as a result of heart failures, strokes, is a full proof that a lot of people have exhausted all comfort zones and face those tragic experiences. Now, my question is, in societies or communities where there is no more proof, because resilience is relative. Degree of resilience in the United States is different from Britain, different from Nigeria, different from other countries because of the degree to which their system works. And that establishes hope on people that if we come out a little from our comfort zone, we can overcome challenges. But when you see a situation where the system is no longer working, judiciary, governance, everything has stripped the people of any hope to exercise further, they seem to have gotten to the end of their elastic limit. What do you suggest further that could be measures to take to save people from the rate of terminal consequences for those who could not japa? It has been worrisome in my mind because I know that our society is filled with individuals that are already disgusted, ranging from the village to the rural areas and urban areas that are filled with people that are already fed up. So what can we present as a communique or suggestion both to individuals and to government, if it's possible for them to listen to what you are going to transmit? So these are the things I want you to highlight. In part, what I'm asking has been already said in part by a lot of people that have asked questions today, because I was listening attentively to various questions, and it's a concern. So what do you suggest? Because the paper seemed to advise us on what we should do. But what do the people or the system has to do so that we don't, in the name of coming out from comfort zone, overstretch ourselves to a sudden collapse? Is worrisome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. You said, you mentioned the comfort zone, not looking like any comfort zone exists in Nigeria anymore. But the truth is that anywhere we are, there is a comfort zone. And in talking about resilience, creativity comes to mind. We mentioned that. I'll give you an example. There is a guy that I used to buy fruits from. And then all of a sudden, I noticed that apart from fruits, he's also doing this POS business. Okay, that's showing some kind of resilience, because resilience is about strategy. Like one of the people that spoke said, being resilient is not just staying at the same place and doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a miracle. So in being resilient, you must come up with strategies. You must begin to diversify. Even for family people, wives, that that, the prices of things have gone up in the market. How do you show resilience? There are some things you can begin to make by yourself in the house without having to go to buy. That will save you cost, so that the little money you have will be enough for you and your family. So resilience can come in. And I also said that for us to have embarked on this program, to pursue this academic program, various academic programs in Ballsbridge, we're showing some kind of resilience. Otherwise, most of us have jobs that we're doing. We can just decide to remain in our comfort zone, wake up in the morning, come to work, go back home, tend to our families. That is our comfort zone. But I'm not sure that can take us very far in times like this. And that is why we are trying to upset status quo. We are trying to move out of this comfort zone to do something that can have economic impact on us later. So I don't think comfort zone is actually is completely eradicated in this country. A lot of people are still operating within their comfort zone. I know it's really been very, very tough, but when things keep getting tough, it's only the tough people, that can survive. And that is why a seminar like this comes very handy, for so many. Some of us here are going through a lot that we can't even discuss with people. And that's why we also said, talk to people. You will never know you might think your own comfort zone is the most messed up, or you have stretched it too much, but talk to people that you think are okay. You find out that you're better than them. So that's why we laid out some of those recommendations. You also need self-assurance, to build your resilience. Resilience is unending. There is always a new area to tap in resilience to help you survive any situation that you find yourself. Comfort zone in Nigeria is also that I'm having headache and I'm taking paracetamol. But being resilient is bringing up the strategy that are you sure this is just ordinary headache because it has become persistent? You go a step further to make sure that stroke doesn't take you away, cardiac arrest doesn't take you away. So these are areas, they look very minute, they look very simple, but these are all the things that, come together, to help us survive difficult times like this.
All right, sir, are you satisfied with the question, with the answer, sir?
The reason why I raised this question, I think it's better I'm understood. If I'm aware of some communities, especially in the Southeast, where some peasant farmers and petty traders, especially those, for example, that carries foodstuff on their head, walking about motor parks and selling, we can say that they have come out from their comfort zone to do something to sustain the family. But unfortunately, for example, every Monday you sit at home. Now, that strategy has frustrated any innovative action of people in that community to sustain their living. And then again, we have heard about a lot of insecurity in the country that has made rob people of their opportunities and time into trade and develop their entrepreneurial skills and float their manufacturing products because you're afraid of invasion. Now, these are things that have made the level of resilience to be tougher. So when I am asking for solution to such situations faced by some communities, which is not that they cannot do something. Many of them have been forced back to their houses because of insecurities, either by herdsmen, kidnappers, violent unidentified. So I wonder what such people could do. So that is what generated what I am asking. Thank you.
Okay. You made mention of insecurity in the East and how it seems that some people can survive that. If I heard you well, because it's raining heavily here, so I was struggling to hear you.
Oh,
you
sorry.
also know that in that same East, some people have had to relocate to neighboring towns to survive. That's those that can afford it. A lot of businessmen we see a lot of them settling their businesses at Asaba and all that to be able to remain afloat and sustain productivity. So that's why I will keep saying that comfort zone cannot be stretched. There is always a step further outside comfort zone, no matter how bad things become. I know that in those communities, there are still some people there that cannot afford to make those bold moves, are not able to come up with strategies. I also know that even the poor people have also resorted to, being lucky to follow some people to town or to Lagos to do some jobs they didn't think they could do before. Some teachers are now doing house chores, doing house cleaning on Saturday, some teachers, professional teachers, just to make ends meet. So I'm sure that if we determine to be resilient, no matter what we are facing, even in those eastern places that we have talked about, and with the help of God, survival is sure, and all that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chibuna, you have the floor, sir, for your question.
Can you confirm that you can hear me very well?
Yes, we can.
All right. I
Go
want
ahead,
to.
Chibuna.
Okay, Onyechi, I want to commend you. You've done wonderfully. It's a splendid presentation. I have no question. What I have is just an additional information for the people that have asked questions. Furthermore, I want to also greet my Oga here, Professor Lucius. Prof, my hands are up. Okay. My contribution to the first question was about the manufacturing. I think Dr. Is that Dr. Daniel or the first question that was asked?
Yeah, that's
about manufacturing. Yeah, Sam Emenike, about manufacturing. Yeah. So, and Onyechi rightly pointed out the fact that it's either you drive revenue higher or you reduce your cost. That is good. But further to that is what is called a lean management system. A lean management system tells you in a nutshell how to do more with less. The implication, it was started by Toyota, and that was how Japan came to the limelight. After the Second World War in 1948, Japan was bombed into pieces. So they had no place to start, no grounds to even make any move. But they were willing to, play at the global market. So what they did is to start asking themselves, how can they do more with less? And that is where we are now economically. From every standpoint, not doing more with more, not even more investments, but doing more with less. The less you have, how can you do more with it? And that is what lean management system is all about. It's applicable to processes, applicable to enterprise, applicable to organizations. And somehow this is my area, this is my forte, what I do for organizations. So it's where you reduce wastes in the system. You're not compromising quality. You're not just reducing costs for the sake of reducing costs. You look at the system you're running, you analyze it, you identify the wastes in the system. Waste is anything that consumes resources without creating value, either for the organization or for the customers. So you identify those things and eliminate them. That will drive your costs low down. It will drive your costs down without compromising quality. And it's also going to give you a high profit margin. Because the traditional thinking is that the price that you give to your customer, you give your product to your customer, is a function of the production costs plus the profit markup. That's the traditional way when things are going good. But the lean thinking is, do not increase costs, do not increase your price. Keep your price steady so as to, engage your customer and make them happy. But drive down your costs by identifying wastes in the system. Eliminating them, your cost drops, yet your profit margin widens, and the customer is not paying higher. So that is what I just felt like throwing out to you, because that's a good system that most organizations are practicing, and we deploy it to most organizations, and it's been very beneficial. So the other one I want to add a few words to is the person that asked about human resources in the, is that an alternative economy? There's a language you used where it is obvious that this person is not qualified, and the executive is saying, you say what?
Informal economy.
Informal economy. Good. Now you're asking, what should I do? Now, my experience with organizations is this. You can, if you are running a data-driven decision-making system. You can put the data of the productivity of these particular individuals that have been brought in by executives that you know they are not qualified, and you know they are not competent, therefore they are agents of low productivity. So you can run your data systematically and with what the impacts of their incompetence has done to the bottom line and the expected productivity of the workforce, you can show it to the management and say, look, these guys that came through this direction, these are the effect, the impact they are having on the organization, and the data is supporting it. So, and once you put it there, if it's a privately owned company, let them have it. If that's what they want, okay, let them go ahead. But if it's a publicly owned organization like the government, let them also see it. So, because what you might be saying something, someone says, how do you know? How do you know? But if the data is carefully, taken and x-rayed and presented in a way, you are saying, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but this is the impact, this is the result of what you will get at the end of the day, and this is what we are getting. So let it be their final decision. Thank you very much. That's just my contribution.
Sorry, sir. Will that not lead to the sack of the one that did the analysis?
Sorry, you say what?
Will that not lead to the deployment or the termination of appointment of the person that did this great job of analyzing productivity to show competence? Would that not lead to his or her sack?
No.
Resource?
You are. It's not your opinion here. That's what I'm saying. Data-driven presentation of the impact of what they're doing. It's not your opinion. Data is speaking because it doesn't tell a lie. You're not presenting your opinion. You're not saying, oh, I want this person to be sacked. They say, this is what the data is. I recall one time we were working for a client. That's their logistic manager. They have an idea. They have a target of turnaround time of their system to be highest, 5 hours. But when we audited the process, it was coming to 29 hours. Now, the logistics manager, we called her and said, look at the data. She said, it's a lie, it cannot be that we want to present her in a bad light. We said, come. We must work with you to improve this process. Therefore, we are not showing this data to your boss. We will tell you what to do with your team. Do exactly what we have done. Come up with your own data that you trust, and let's discuss it. But meanwhile, we are not showing your boss this one. So she went with her team and did as we told them, and they came up with 25 hours. So we said, okay, we're going to use your data. We're going to use your data. But what do you suggest? She started talking and discussing. It's okay. She's afraid. I said, don't be afraid. It is not about your being sacked or presenting in a bad light. This is the data. We are here to improve the process. That's just what we're here to do. So we use your own data. So we began to speak with the boss in a manner, and as she spoke up. So it's not being vindictive, it's not attacking somebody. No. And it's not even your opinion in the first place. You say, what's the data saying? This is the data. And this is the impact on the organization. But if you want it, management, proceed with it. But if you don't want it, then it's your decision to make. First of all, it's not your call to make, it is their call to make. But you have provided them information to make an informed decision at the end of the day. I don't know whether I've made sense to you. Hello?
That sounds good. Thank
okay,
you,
great. It's okay.
Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful contributions. And we still have hands up. And we have
I'm struggling to hear Emmanuel, because the rain is so heavy.
And So, Ma, your hand is up. We'd like to hear your contribution or question. And while Mr. Olayele Otiwehemi get ready to ask your final question. So, Ma, you have the floor, Ma. Please kindly unmute. You are muted.
Yeah, thank you, Emmanuel. I think Mrs. Ajero was even saying that she cannot hear you, so you may have to position your mic in a way that she will hear you. Well, thank you, everyone. I say thank you and good afternoon to our executive chairman, Professor Emeje, and all the Bosbridge facilitators, and our wonderful presenter here, Mrs. Ajero. That was a very good one. And we're always proud of you. We knew you would do justice to what you were asked to do. Mine is not really a question, but just to add to what has been said. And looking at also the question that Professor Lucius Ikechukwu raised, the issue of people in the Southeast, what do these people do? I mean, these are realistic things. What can people like that do? But the issue is that resilience. Funny enough, as I sat back here, I kept on thinking and looking at what is being said. Resilience is not a new thing among the humans. Resilience has been, in fact, even with the microorganisms. I happen to be also a pharmacist, and I know that one of the problems we have had in the terrain of the antibiotics and resistance to antibiotics is the issue of some organisms we cannot see with our eyes being resilient. I mean, they have refused to die. They have just said, look, I'm going to be here and torment human beings. And what they have done to survive is resilience. They build what we call mutants because there's something in their DNA that they can be a kind of a structural change in their DNA that make them resistant. And so when you bring one antibiotics, after some time, you begin to see that, oh, these antibiotics, these organisms have built resistance. We call it resistance, but actually it is resilience. So if it is that microorganisms, which were also, well, let's say created by God or they came on their own, you know, because some of them are really could be very, very deadly, you know. But these organisms we cannot see, but there's something we can always learn from the things that are seen, the things that cannot be seen, and the things are around us. So if these organisms can build resilience and be what we call resistance to this, to whatever man throws at their faces, that means that man can actually develop resilience and be resilient in anything that faces him or her. These organisms, for instance, you may find out that they have used one thing, you bring up, we go on and on and on and bring up some antibiotics. After some time again, they develop something again in them that will make it difficult for those things again to bring them down. So that is how we keep on evolving. For instance, it says for the first generation, second generation, and on generations, and on and on. What am I saying? If microorganisms can build resilience, it stands to reason that it is something that is just going to be there in the face of, you know, for human beings. Things will always happen. I don't think it has to do with really, yeah, I know that the government has a part to play, and so many things have to have their part to play, infrastructure and whatever, but it's a thing that we cannot do without. Whether we're in the Southeast, whether it's erosion, whether we have poor government, whether we're in Nigeria, we're in America, we're in UK, because if you also call people who are in UK, who are in US, they're also having their own bits. So I believe that this is a very, this topic is something that we need to, like Dr. Emenike said, we have to go over it over and over and over. I, for instance, have take home. You can never know how strong you are until being strong is your only option. And I think Nigerians have come to a point wherein what Bob Marley said, they have to take it up. You can never know how strong you are until what the only option you have, like someone who is in the water, drowning. I mean, you don't know how to swim. Anything that you come, you grab it. That's when all your mental faculties have to be put at alert. It's no more a time for us to just depend on somebody or whatever it is. It's a time for us to look at all of these issues of strength, persistence, motivation, being optimistic, pressure, and all of that, and move on. And I believe that no one can stop a person except you stop yourself. And thank you very much, Mr. Ajero. This is a very relevant topic and a very relevant one thing and for us to take home for individual lives and our businesses. And I think and I believe, not just think, that no government will be able to crush all the people when if it happens that a government comes up or anything comes up and everybody is being crushed, there will still be one person or two or three or four, 10 who will survive the time. And they will do that through the spirit of resilience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you. We really appreciate your contribution. And currently, no more questions. Oh, Mr. Olayele, I will just permit you to just give us, are you still there, Mr. Olayele? Okay, so now we'll be moving to the faculty members. So I would like I will call on one or two faculty members to give his or contribution and before the executive chairman of the institute, which is
hello, sir, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Olayele, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I was trying to unmute, but it took some time. Okay, sorry, I was. Are you hearing me?
So we are hearing you, sir.
Yeah, I was the person that raised that question of that manufacturing industry, and I have the suggestions I've made, and I'm glad to tell you I'm happy in this forum because I have my PhD in operation management from Bosbridge University, and I've been in a school of lean management, even in South Africa and all of this. I would like to suggest that if we can have a workshop, because that question I ask from a vital experience. I spent 40 years in the industry, and I knew that aspect of HR, and I've resigned as CEO of 2 companies because that aspect of HR. When the chairman will bring his son to take over finance, and the son is interested in just taking money and going away, and I could not tolerate it, I have to drop my resignation and leave. If we can have a workshop whereby we can have this topic discussed, and Chamber of Commerce, industries, they will see light in this aspect, because I can tell you emphatically that professionals in manufacturing are not rich people. They need rich people to bring in their money. But as they are bringing in their money, they are telling you that they must have an eye. There is no how, either competent or incompetent, you can drive that eye away. It will remain there. And that's one of the problems. So if we have a workshop, we'll be able to bring this thing, highlight it properly, and it will be a very good success to Nigerian manufacturing industry. Look at Lagos now. 98% of industry in Lagos in the past 20 years have folded up. They are religious houses now. And that's how we have a lot of joblessness that is happening. That's on that one. Then on this aspect of resilience, we have seen resilience today from the positive aspect. That is, adapt to changes that are coming for you to move forward. Good. But sometimes the resilience has its negative aspect. The more you adapt, the more they push you. There's need at times to forget about this resilience and react. And that's what Rollins does. Like the example my sister quoted is very good. Rollins reacted to that aspect. That was why he was able to transform Ghana back. Nigeria today, a graduate of engineering in resilience has gone back to driving Uber. In resilience, he has gone back to be driving Okada. In residence now, he's a shoemaker. Because he must make life, he must move forward. Sometimes resilience also can be looking from the aspect that, no, enough is enough, let's react. So thank you for the opportunity. Let me just share this opinion also. And I will be grateful if we continue like this as Bosby University graduates or students, that we can be meeting together in a forum like this. It will be good for the country. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir. And talking about the workshop, we'll be having an international conference and investiture ceremony coming up this year again, in the month of November 14th at the Oriental Hotel here in Victoria Island, Lagos. And where we are going to be having a similar program in terms of workshop and other enticing programs. Participants of last session can testify to this. And we believe that you who is participating in this virtual webinar today will also participate in that program. So in the absence of no question, I will be calling on one of the two of our faculty members. First, I will call on Dr. Sunday Adebelu to give his comments on the what the presenter has done, and also if you have one or two things to talk about. Doctor, are you there, sir?
Yes. Good afternoon, Prof. Good afternoon, fellow faculty members, our scholars, and everyone on this call. And I want to especially appreciate Madam Onyinyechi, or Onyiko, as our friends used to call her. I'm not disappointed because I know, definitely I know what I was going to get when I was coming in. And Madam has really done justice to the topic. I want to sincerely appreciate you, and I want to say, please keep the flag of Bosbridge flying. Thank you for what you have done. And when she was just talking, a lot of things were coming to my mind. Some of them are biblically related, some of them are not, but I'm going to mention one or two of them. And if I quote Bible, don't assume the person that is talking is a pastor. I'm not today, and I'm not going to be tomorrow. Therefore, but I love biblical principles, and sometimes I apply it to what I do in life. But I'm going to take my comment from the Bible that talk about long suffering. Long suffering is also a fruit of the Spirit, and is very much synonymous with resilience, because it means the ability to endure patiently the harm or trouble caused by others. And when we look at, I was listening to several years ago, and those are part of the things that motivated me to all that I have been able to accomplish in my life. I listened to Pastor Mensah Otabil cassette, then it was cassette, not CD, not anything, then because it was long, on the value of a dot. And in that value of a dot preaching, I don't know if many of us have listened to it. He was talking about when you have a zero, that it depends on where your dot is placed in that is zero, that will either add value to your life or remove value from your life. That if you have 1.0, if that is 1, if you have 1.00, it's still 1. If you have 1.00, no matter the number of zero you put, it's still 1. But if you remove the 0 and the 0 is at the back, that what he was trying to say, he mentioned about 7 things in life that we don't determine originally, and how we can navigate towards it, how we can go above that. And one thing that he said that really gingered me was that if poverty is pursuing you, your speed is different. Not too long ago, about 2 weeks ago, I sent a paper to Dr. Anjorin. I was researching, and I wrote an article that is already in the press now for publication, on the politics of poverty and economic development in Nigeria. And I was looking at it majorly from the perspective of election in Nigeria, and how the Nigerian, the people that are fortunate to hold political offices in the country have been able to pauperize the people by denying them the basic infrastructural development, and use those infrastructural development as a campaign tool every 4 years. And at the end of the day, after that 4 years, when they are coming to campaign, what they drop is like what is falling from the master's table. And in the course of doing that research, reading Rand, I stumbled on a report by Luxembourg. Some I cannot really pick it now. And what he was talking about was looking at that report was looking at single motherhood, especially women. That most times, if you juxtapose that with most married women, that single mothers most times, it was a report carried out in Luxembourg, that they are more successful. And what he was trying to see, he was trying to talk about resilience, that to a large extent, you have 4 children, the husband is not responsible, or the husband has died, or the person has divorced, and you are left with the children, and the man doesn't want to take responsibility or something like that, that the person has, and that is why I love the quotation by this Bob Marley that Madam Onyeko mentioned, that you don't know how strong you are until the only option you have is just to be strong. You know, because it takes crazy person to achieve crazy things. And that is why, you know, you see them, they go all along, they go everywhere. That's why you see a lot of people are complaining in the country. Hello. Am I still on, please? Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we're hearing you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, a lot of people are complaining about what is going on in the country, but a lot of people are all making positive impact. You know, we know the situation is so terrible. And yesterday I was discussing with somebody. I was having a lecture yesterday, and we're talking about minimum wage and everything. And I know somebody in the manufacturing sector asked that similar question. And I was looking at what I just told them, that ordinarily what they are negotiating for, both labor and government, I'm not sure they know what they are negotiating for. What you are negotiating is minimum salary, not minimum wage. Because minimum wage is about hourly payment. But you are negotiating, okay, you cannot say the minimum wage in the country is 60,000, for example. That means hourly, what you need to be paying people is maybe 60,000. If you have negotiated minimum wage, that would have even been better. But at the long run, can you give 250,000, 300,000, any amount you give? Is the value of money, is the quality of money that you have that matters. It's not the quantity of money. A time will come, you can use 1 million naira to buy a loaf of bread. Fantastic. You have the loaf, you carry all the money and go and buy a loaf of bread. Therefore, what are we doing to make sure that our money is of quality? Therefore, we are looking at resilience from different perspectives. And you know, what came to my mind when Madam Onyeko was talking was, I think Proverbs 6 is, if I don't quote it very well, you two can research into it and quote it very well. What he's saying is that you should learn from the ants, that they know how to manage their life in terms of drought, in terms of plenty, they know how they store their food. And he was trying to make a lot of examples of how to manage, how to be resilient, how to have long suffering, and how to plan for a period of this nature. It's not fantastic for everybody, but like Prof said that, oh, the resilient nature may be different. You know, I was delivering a lecture and I was asking some very germane question that, okay, the roads in Nigeria have been bad, yes. Nobody, and I mentioned so many, I came up with so many problems that are coming up in Nigeria, and everybody, the whole class concurred with me. And the next question I asked that, okay, in this type of environment, nobody is surviving. And nobody could answer, because a lot of people are still surviving, because when the going get tough, it's only the tough that get going. I want to really, I mentioned the issue of this long suffering. I talked about single parenting, and you know, Madam was talking about embracing tech. When she was talking about embracing technology, I was just laughing, because what was coming to my mind, you know, sometimes when something just drops, something that dropped in my mind is that when Jesus wants to even come back, it's going to come back. How do, if say all the eyes we see him at the time, then if you are not embracing tech, how do you get it? Because it's only through cloud, through technology, that somebody can do something and the whole world can connect almost at the same time. I want to appreciate Madam so very much for this. And the other aspect I also want to do, in this current situation, we also need to manage our consumption. We need to manage our consumption. I'm not saying we should not eat, but we need to manage our consumption. There was a time at the University of Georgia, 28th of October last year, I delivered a paper on Kolo mentality and Nigeria entrepreneurial revolution. You know, and in that paper, what I was projecting a lot of things that is even causing our exchange rate to increase. And one, we are not producing anything. Number two is that our consumption pattern is that we are driven towards anything that is not Nigeria. Anything that is not Nigeria is good. Even if it's coming from, if the Ankara is coming from Ghana, it's more of better quality than that of Nigeria. Therefore, in our own mouth, we have used our own mouth and we have used our own consumption to also destroy our economy, because we don't like our thing. To the extent I painted a picture and the vice chancellor laughed and was almost falling from table. The picture I painted was that, okay, somebody has 4 children, one in the firstborn in Nigeria, and 3 of them, the one in UK, one in Canada, one in US, and the person died. And the next thing you see in the obituaries, okay, for a life well spent, we announce the death of our father, grandmother, and all those things. And the next thing survived by number 1 person, Sunday Adebello. They didn't put anything. Oluwasegun Bello, Canada. Shola Bello, USA. This other person, United Kingdom. Okay, the first person, where is the person on earth? That's to show. And if the person has also died abroad, you will also say, oh, that died in St. Louis Hospital, UK. If the person died in Lagos, you will not. We have also, and thank God for Mr. Chibuna is on this call. That we have discussed this extensively, that we have been made to believe that our thing is bad and anything that is foreign should be assumed as the original. And that is one of the major problems that is even destroying our economy. We don't like our thing. Anything that is our own, we don't like it because we believe it's not original. And that is why we also continue to produce fake. I was watching Taogbe or Nelta or something on TV one day, and she wore very beautiful suit. And even Ruben Abacha, all of them were saying, oh, you just came back abroad, you must have ordered this. I said, no, I got all this suit. I bought one from abroad and I took it to Aba, and they made 6 for me. And it was out of that 6 that I was putting on one. I think in as much as we are resilient, the other thing is that please let's manage our consumption. Let's love our things. Let's patronize our things, because Fela sang it several years ago that the only way the economy can progress is when we continue to eat our own thing. And that is where I want to stop. I want to say thank you, Madam, for this beautiful presentation. And like Ima said, we have conferences, and even occasionally, on monthly basis or a quarterly basis, CLMI used to have lectures. Please, when we call you, come up, let us interact and discuss, because one thing is that we just have to continue to discuss. From this discussion, something will hit you. And at the end of the day, we're able to make positive changes on our own table. Because if Nigeria is going to change, in as much as we have the government, like the VP said, the government has their own, we also need to change from our own table. And we believe not too long a time, if we do what is right, Nigeria will be better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. We really appreciate your contribution. So that is Dr. Sunday Adebello, is also a faculty member of Ball Street University. And so I would like to call on one more person before I invite the executive chairman, Dr. Julius Anjorin. Are you there, sir? So we would like to hear your opinion and also your contributions towards the paper.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, I want to appreciate Prof. for this opportunity. I also want to appreciate every member of the faculty, as well as the brilliant scholars, specifically Mrs. Ajero. I want to appreciate you and every one of us, the admin people and every member that is joining who are not a part of us. Osbridge is a family, and we believe that this is part of the good things that's happening to us here. I want to commend Madam Ajero for this presentation, and I want to say 1 or 2 things with regards to resilience. Now, resilience, Dr. Bello talked about the Bible. There's a proverb in my language that the people who worship Ogun, so if they want to swear, they have to go to an iron to put it and hit their head. So it is what you have that you use to swear to swear. What I'm trying to say is that sometimes you have to go to where what you are used to. In Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 6 in the Bible says, you have dwelt long enough in this mountain. That's God talking to the children of Israel. You have stayed too long on this spot. Resilience involves not staying too long on the spot that Madam Ajero called a comfort zone. And talking about comfort zone does not necessarily mean that it is comfortable. Comfort zone means that it is a portion you have remained and you feel you are okay, that you can't go forward. Resilience involves living where you are, not dwelling on that same portion, that same mountain. And as such, in my own perspective of resilience, I want to give a personal life example. I know some of you will smile, but it's true. There was somebody who was always wanting to do what I have done. If I write book, he wants to write book. It could be the same topic itself. If I do this, so at a point I became so worried. I said, why must this person want to copy me? Both academic and non-academic things I was doing. The guy wanted to do the same thing. And I felt unhappy. But one day, I was sleeping, I saw a picture. And what was that picture? I saw rain had just fallen. And I came out of the house with my bare foot. I started walking on the rain on the ground, a muddy ground, and I saw my footstep, one step, another step, and I saw it was like a straight line. And I said, what's the meaning of this? And what I received that day was that, if somebody else comes and puts his leg on top of where you have just stepped now, he's putting his leg on top of your own. Your own is already under. So you don't need to look at who is putting his leg on top of your own, where you have already passed. Just move on. That gave me a picture of resilience, that even when things are tough, you don't remain where you are. You have to move forward. And you have to move forward in such a way that whatever is happening in your environment, you use it to build up yourself. That's why this topic at this point is very germane for us to note that resilience is not that things are not tough. Resilience is that you are surviving even when things are tough. Whether there's insecurity, you are surviving. Whether there is a poor government policy, you are surviving. So I want to believe that issues that have been discussed, issues such as diversification, continuous learning, financial management, adaptability, adapting to situations, and health and well-being, income diversification, all this, they will all help us to remain resilient in this time and age. Finally, I want to talk on the Japa syndrome, and in as much as I agree that the Japa syndrome has affected us. Madam said something which I want to disagree with a little. He said our best hands have gone. I don't want to believe that. There are so many best hands, including you, that spoke for us today, that have not Japad. And so that means that there are good hands that have gone, but there are still good hands that have not gone, that are remaining here, because they have stood resilient even in the midst of difficulties. So I want to believe that whether you japa or not, there is a level of resilience that every human being, just like our mommy said, there's a level of resilience that you must adapt to wherever you find yourself. And I pray that God will help us to stand resilient in every situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful one. And thank you that Dr. Jesus Anjeri, also a faculty member of Boswell University in affiliation with CLMI. Okay, we'd like to, because of time, okay, one hand is up, Mrs. Antonia Okuba. I would like to get your own before we introduce so can we hear you, ma'am?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Prof. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are. Continue.
Okay. Okay. I want to appreciate the organizers of this great event. I want to appreciate my very good friend, Onyinyechuku Ajero, for this wonderful presentation. Yeah, I'm a new student, and this is my first time joining the program. Then I want to, my hand has been up since, but thank God Emmanuel remembered to allow me to add my voice to the spirit of resilience. And when you say somebody has a resilient spirit, it has to do with I can do spirit. I know sometimes we feel like giving up, maybe because we are getting tired, because we are fed up. There's this adage that says that only winners don't quit, but losers do. Yes, even the illustration somebody made saying that ants operate as a seamless unit. As tiny and minute ants are, they protect themselves. Each ant knows his or her role and they perform it. They gather food preparing for the rainy day. They save for the future. They don't give excuses. So if ants can do all this, how about we human beings? Yes, making use of your time and opportunities has to do in these present times we are now. Embracing changes. You can work with the resources available to you. Like most people in the time past, they were good in importations, but going by the freight charges of the freight importations and others and dollar, you know, and the exchange rates and others. So many people have resorted to local manufacturing, and it is paying off. You as a manufacturer, you can look inwards. Locally, you manufacture by your resources manufacturing, buy your resources manufacture locally, and you work with the staff strengths you believe that can give you at the end of the day, you are making your profits, no matter how little they are. In the time past, even our parents, in the olden days, a prof mentioned how a single parent fends for their children. In the olden days, you see our mothers having 12 children, and our fathers are all there, making sure the children go to school. Like in my family, my mother had us 12 of us, and she made sure that we all go to school because she didn't go to school. So what am I trying to say? Yes, we know the economy is hard, but having that resilience spirit, we can't just give up. So thank you very much. That's just my take on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. And that's a wonderful take from you, and we are motivated by that. All right. In the absence of no question and in the spirit of the webinar, and I would like to invite the executive chairman of the institute, the person of distinguished Professor Simon Imejie, to give his final contribution and remarks before I do the final announcement. Okay, Prof.
Good afternoon, everybody in this forum.
Good afternoon.
Am I heard?
Good afternoon, sir. Prof.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Prof.
It's a wonderful thing to see the people I'm seeing here. You know, you won't believe that my classmate that we've not seen for over 3 decades. I'm just seeing him here, Dr. Sunday. I'm also seeing Professor James Omonu.
Thank you, sir.
So many people. If I begin to mention all of us who sleep here, but I want to say I'm glad to see all of us here like this. And like somebody said, was asking whether we can be having this. I assure you, we have been having this and we'll continue to have more of this. I want to thank all of us for making time up to to come to this forum. I'm sure we've gotten something to take home and we've gotten something to work with. I want to first appreciate Bosbridge University. It's a wonderful family. I can see many Bosbridge people here. Professor Mike Abba, I welcome you. I thank you for your presence. And just yesterday, I was talking with him and we're virtually lamenting and at the same time analyzing the economy. And it's quite a sad thing. And when you look at the awfulness of the economy, we don't need anything but this kind of resilience to be able to survive. So we can stay on this subject for weeks, and you discover that from what people are saying, we will not be able to exhaust them. But we'll take it bit by bit. So we thank Bosbridge University for making this possible, for establishing this university this way. We thank the Chancellor, distinguished Professor Charles. He's very excited about this. And I want to say this on his behalf, that what we have initiated and what is going on here and in many centers, we must not allow it to die. And we'll continue with this spirit. Bosbridge University is one institution that so liberalized education. And like I would normally say, I add another word to it, demystified education. Because we grew up to know education as one difficult monster that will not allow people to proceed, to make progress. But it's not as it's been made to know. And that is why this kind of forum is very key, a very key forum that we could put our minds, rub our minds together to see how to make progress, both as individuals and as nations, including Nigeria. So we thank distinguished Professor Charles, the Chancellor of Bosbridge University. We thank the whole of Bosbridge, professors, doctors, students, all together. We appreciate you all. We appreciate Professor Lucius. We appreciate so many. I will not be able to thank everybody here, but just accept my general Thanksgiving hand waving up to all of us. You are welcome here. And also, you see, in the society we are, one word I'm substituting for resilience is doggedness. And you need doggedness to embrace change. We need doggedness to sustain change. We also need doggedness to sustain productivity. In everything we do in life, we cannot do without resilience. We cannot do without doggedness. People who are not dogged are people who give up easily. The people who are dogged, like people will say, they won't take no for an answer. They must, if you say no, they keep going, importunity, until they get what they want. We have shipwreck of professions and businesses all over, particularly in African continents, because people give up. And you may not be able to blame them so much because the economic factors are issues that contain so much that if you are not really, really dogged, you will give up. But we want to say from this program that as many of us as have partaken in this, spread the news to as many people around you as possible. That look, in all we do, let's remain dogged. Let us not give up at all. And I want to thank our presenter so much, Madam Onye. Like others have said, we are not disappointed. And you have represented not just Bosbridge very well as a scholar, you have represented your colleagues too, who are in the same class, the same program with you, doing PhD, masters, and so on. I want to say this, that as many of us as are coming in and will want to come in, Bosbridge has quality. I can assure you that. We have all of us here gone through university system in various places, and we know what it is. Some of us have looked at programs, whether undergraduate or postgraduate programs, as such programs that you cannot really contend with. But in Bosbridge, we have so liberalized it, we have so simplified it, and we do not still compromise quality. You could see from the presenter, you can measure from there that we know what we are talking about. So I encourage those who are wanting to come in and those who are already in to go ahead. You are welcome. And to carry this conversation forward, like somebody suggested, we have a program, the Korean Logistics Management Institute, which is an affiliate center of Bosbridge University. We have this annual program every year. And last year we held one in November. And this year we're going to have another one. We will carry this kind of conversation forward. And the motive behind this is you discover that people will need to hear this message. They will need to hear. The government will need to hear. The businessmen will need to hear. The public servants will need to hear. The medical team will need to hear. The students will need to hear. We have skill acquisition programs in our institute. And like somebody said, we do education in such a way that you don't just get a degree and go. We want you to know that with your degree, there are so many things you can do. We have a British system that has taught us, that if you want to read law and just go. And now you have so many people who have read certain courses in the universities. They've come out and they're doing different things. And the question I've been asking them is, why did you go to read this course in the university? If you read law and you are now doing, how do I call it? You are now mending clothes. There are variants. It's completely different. The question is, why did you read law in the first place? And it won't blame anybody, because the kind of educational system we're given from the British background and from all other places, so many places, that system is so stereotyped, straight-jacketed system. We do not look at things that will make the economy grow. I love the educational system in Ukraine, for instance. In Ukraine, anything you can do with your hand has a university that you can go on and read it. If you are a wristwatch repairer, there is a university that will run that course for you. You have University of Pharmacy, you have Medical University, you have all specialties, various specialties, and you need to know that kind of system. And that is what will help us. If you spend 5 years in the university reading a particular program, you come out, you cannot use it. What is the use? So we are emphasizing that, look, our leadership, our governmental system our educational sector, ministry, should begin to look at how to practicalize the various curricula we have, such that everything will really, really be practical, and you will be proud of what certificate you are holding and from where, which university, which school are you holding this from. I'm saying, therefore, that Korea and Logistics Management Institute has a program, and I will be glad to see all of us here right there that day this year on 14th November 2024 at Oriental Hotel, Victoria Island, Lagos. Make time, can block, will send messages to all of us that are here so that you won't say you've forgotten. It's a place we are going to carry this conversation forward. This time around, to make a statement more and more to the government of Nigeria and to governments of other countries, because some people will be keying in from other countries. And tell the press to help us push this out. We're going to have a workshop there where we'll come up with a communique that we can send to the government that will help the government. The government needs to know that this sector, what we are saying, is a matter of concern, is a matter we should address, is a matter we should not sweep under the carpet. So we encourage all of us to be available, and let's carry this conversation forward. And before then, we might still have another webinar before that program we're talking about, and you are all welcome to. So we thank all of you and everybody present in this place, all the products of Bosbridge University, all the products of other universities, all the business people, all the various professions all over that are represented here. We thank all of you, and we'll welcome you anytime you'll be hearing from us. Thank you very, very much. But I also thank our faculty members. You've done so well. You can see that your product is shining. And if your scholar is speaking this way and all other scholars are following suit also, you will understand that you are doing a good job. And I thank all of you because you have not made education difficult for the scholars. Unlike some of our universities, I'm sorry to say this, unlike some of our universities who would deliberately punish students and will not allow them to graduate, whether at undergraduate or postgraduate programs. That is what we are trying to demystify. It's not worth it. And charity begins at home. If we are emphasizing knowledge as a driving force for any economy, then we must make the ivory towers so simple, so liberalized, so accessible. Thank you for joining the fight, and we'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you all participants for participating. For taking 2 hours out of your today to listen to this wonderful webinar, and I believe that we've all been impacted one way or the other. So I want to bring a special announcement to each and every one of us. For those of you who have registered for the new session of Bosbridge University, your PhD or your MSc program, so we'll be having our orientation coming up next week, 27th of June 2024. That is next week, Thursday, at the Institute here. So those who will also be joining virtually from outside Lagos, but we are physically present in Lagos, we will be live here at the Institute Training Center, Korea and Logistics Management Institute. That's 2 Vidalo, over the GR with Lagos. And also, if you are yet to register for the upcoming session, the opportunity is still open. Please kindly do the registration before the orientation date so that you can also participate before the new session starts. And I want to thank every one of us for finding out time to participate here. I want to say the Lord will bless every one of you. And one more thing, I will be dropping a link, and I want to get the feedback of every one of us. For those of you that want the recorded session of this webinar, I will be dropping a link. Please kindly fill the form. So I'll be dropping it right now. So you check the chat box, kindly fill out the form, and we want to get your feedback, and also if you want the recorded version of this, to go over it again. And we believe that the next webinar is going to come before our international investiture, and each and every one of us is going to participate. So my name remains Simon Emmanuel, and I would like to call on someone to give us a closing prayer. And this time around, I will be calling on, please, if I call on you, if my spirit directs me to you, please just kindly lead us in closing prayer, either you are from using background or any background. So I would like to call on Mr. Femi. Are you there, Mr. Femi? Mr. Femi, can you turn? Okay, kindly give us the closing prayer for today's webinar.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
We can hear you.
Thank you for, it's a privilege to be here today. I'm very happy I'm part of what is happening in this forum and in this organization, Ballsbridge University. So I thank every one of us. So let's have the prayer, the closing prayer right now. Our Father, in the name of Jesus, Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for the privilege of being alive today. We thank you, Father, for you are our God, and you have made all things beautiful. We thank you for life. We thank you for what you're doing in our individual life. We thank you because you are helping us to make decisions, to make progress in life. And we know that you are the God of progress. And we pray, oh God, that you are the only one that has the power to back our efforts. We ask that you help us in every endeavor in the name of Jesus. Help us, oh Lord, to meet up with the expectation that the world is waiting for, even as we move on in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Father, we pray for the management of this institution. We pray, oh God, that you will continue to strengthen them. We pray that you continue to give them the wisdom to put things forward that will be beneficial to everyone at large in the name of Jesus. But I pray for everyone that is present here today, that you strengthen everyone, and you give us the strength to keep forging ahead.
I'm not hearing him.
Mr. Femi, you actually went on mute, right? During praying.
God bless you all.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please kindly fill me this form. We'd like to get your feedback, everyone of you that participated in this webinar. And also, if you need the recorded version, please fill the form. Thank you very much. And we would like to see you in our subsequent program. And if you are also interested in any other program, please reach out to us on WhatsApp, and also our email address at info@clmi.ng, and also reach out to us on WhatsApp, which is at 090-344-98362. And please thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, Emmanuel. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Mrs. Emeje.
Well done.
Oh, Prof.
Prof.
I see the other people. And which one is?
Good morning.